Going back to the stage. Let's do Kamen Rider Zero It's never over.
Hello YouTube, this is Charlie426, and today we have the review of the P-Bandai exclusive, or P-Bandai exclusive, SHF Kamen Rider Zero Two, but it's the Izu version. Now, I think I've mentioned this a lot of times. I have been a big fan of the Kamen Rider series, especially recently, Kamen Rider Zero Two. I really enjoyed the series as well. I practically pretty much bought like 80 to 90% of the releases as well. And once again, I have all the main forms of Kamen Rider Zero One. And I was really looking forward for Zero Two, but Bandai for some reason decided to release the Izu version. Now, for those who don't know or who hasn't watched the series, Kamen Rider Zero One, the main character, the guy who transforms into Kamen Rider Zero One and his other forms is called Aruto. That is the main character. The box here, which mentions Izu, or is in English, but is his secretary. He's basically, Aruto is currently basically a company CEO type character. He becomes one later, but very early. And he has a android secretary. And in the movie, keep in mind, from the movie, she transforms into this form for some reason. Like, I mean, I know why, but still, she transforms in once. So this thing was not in the main series. Now, the main character Aruto actually transforms into Kamen Rider Zero Two in the main series. So it would be logic if they just released the regular Zero Two, but they released the secretary version for some reason. And I believe Tamashii Nations did display a regular Aruto version as well, although I don't think they have confirmed whether they're going to release it officially or not. So that is a little bit tricky, but let's see what we got. So the main reason is that I bought this is because at the time I took a gamble where I had a feeling that they might not release the Aruto version by there is a chance, so which is why I bought this, just so for the sake that I can have a Kamen Rider Zero Two. So yeah, or I could have taken the gamble where not to buy it and wait for the regular version, but there was no any information at the time. Alright, so for now, let's see what we got. So you might be wondering, so what's the huge difference between this? So right off the bat, I would like to mention just the figure wise, like just on its own, it's fine. I really love the proportion, size looks okay. Like, because when it comes to SHF figure arts, I believe they actually have a male format and a female format. But being Kamen Rider series, they're all covered up in armor. So in this format, it doesn't really hit me that this looks like a female format at the moment, but later becomes problem with the height. I'll get into that later. But for now, here is the box. You can see the rider is or the character in his signature form. Now, I do kind of understand or respect the option for them doing this, because I know Izu became a very popular character from the series. Even the actor became very popular. So I guess they wanted to boost her spirit up by releasing this as well. So you can see there are some basic poses, but definitely doing her secretary pose as well. Other accessory wise, there is no weapons, because Kamen Rider Zero Two itself is a very powerful form. He's technically was his ultimate form for Kamen Rider Zero One, but later got another form that I still have a few questions about, but still, so which is why we only get some hands. So other than your typical fist hands, right over there, you get your basic hands. So you get the standard, open style hands. These are the standard ones, and then you get these hands, which are pretty much for her secretary poses as well. So we get these style open hands again, and a slightly different open hand. So there's no hands to hold any weapons. So unless I would assume if they do release a Aruto version, it should come with at least the multi-purpose hands, because in the series there he does actually sometimes uses a weapon. So yeah, and if they do go for Zero Two Aruto version, I would love to see if they could go for Arc 1 as well. But anyway, let's see what we got. So articulation wise is pretty much what you expect. So let's start right away. Number one, the paint job, they did an excellent job. I really love how they did the finished touches here. I don't see any errors here as well. So the head, now I would say the antennas would be the most fragile part still, so be careful not to accidentally snap them off or drop it like this. So yeah. So head-wise, you can go down that much, up that much, no big deal. Same articulation. Going side to side, no problem. 360 can rotate because it is on a ball joint, but keep in mind, well, technically in this case, there is a android inside, so yeah. So here we go. Here we have the signature design here. That's supposed to be a number 2 here. No big deal there. So body-wise, we get a nice ab crunch standard SHF figure art, articulation going on here. Now you can go side to side. Now going 360, if you force it, it is technically possible, but it becomes very messy from the behind, so I don't really recommend it. Shoulder armors are actually attached to the arm itself, so instead of the body, so you can rotate the arms freely as well, although the 2 symbol might get in the way, unlike this side as well. So 360 is possible. So if the shoulder armor is actually attached to the body, then you can't really go 360 because the shoulder will be locked into place. So yeah, there are pros and cons to that. And the arm can rotate 360 on its own, as you can see, and then bend wise you get your standard bend for the arms. And love the metallic silver and red they use on all over the places. Hands are your standard ball jointed hands, where the ball joint is on the arm and the hole is on the fists or hands. Now looking at the belt, the 02 driver, they did an excellent job on the sculpting as well. As far as I've tested, this thing does not pop out or you can detach that because that's not really how the way it works. And then you can actually take out the progress key as well, and not every detail is there, but the essential details is there as well. So I'm satisfied with that, and I believe there is like a third party where they make stickers for those. Although I've seen one before, it's not really that clean unless you actually clean it up. Alright, and then let's look at the legs. Now the legs, you have your typical size swivel, and now it may look a little bit limiting, but you can also, according to the inside box, there was a manual printed on the inside of the box where you could extend like that by pulling it down. So although that makes a huge gap, so it doesn't really make sense proportionally, but still, if you want to control the height a bit, that is possible, and you do get more freedom for the side swivel. And then going forward 90 degrees is possible, and you can see the nice imprints, oops, sorry about that, nice imprints on the feet as well. And then going to the back, no problem as well. And then going to the side should be no problem, about roughly 90 degrees. Bend wise, you get your standard, bend as an SHF figure art. And feet are they still have that a little bit boot-ish, boot design-ish going on here, but in the end it's only the feet or foot that moves around, so rotating is possible. We get a decent pivot joint as well, and then bending upwards is possible, and you still do get the toe bend that goes upwards. So that is pretty much it. So articulation wise, it's your standard SHF figure arts. Now looking at the figure itself, I'm really satisfied with it actually. So if I don't actually have any other figures, I'd be very satisfied. I wouldn't have any issues just treating this as the Aruto version. But here comes the problem. Let's say if you have all his previous forms and you want to display them together. Now sadly, I moved out of my own house from my parents' house, and I'm living alone, and all my other 01 figures are there. But I do have this figure, which, if I remember correctly, when I reviewed his also wolf form, this was roughly the same height as the Shining Assault form. So they were roughly the same height, and this is a form that uses the same palette but different color scheme. So this is a different form, but overall same height of that figure. So this guy was same height as the Shining Assault Hopper, which was the same, which was based on Aruto's form. So let's put them side to side. Now it doesn't look that different, but at the same time there is a height difference, and if we put them like this, you can see there is a huge height difference. Even the chest part, the neck part, the head part, they're way more smaller. So you can see there is a little bit of a height gap. So I'm assuming if they do release the Aruto version, this should be at least the same height as this. So I think the legs, the legs are a little bit shorter, and because of that, it pretty much changed the whole position there of the whole body. And because of the body, and I believe the main body waist section is slightly shorter, which makes this height different. So this could be a little bit problematic. So if you're really hoping to display them together, this might become a little bit tricky as well. So yeah, just be aware of that aspect. But other than that, I'm very satisfied with this. Even the back details came out extremely clean, no errors as well. What I mean by errors, I mean like paint tab errors, because there are sometimes where you can get a smudge or you can get a scratch right off the box. Alright, so I think that's pretty much it for the review. So once again, because this figure does not come with any multi-purpose hands, there's no way we can actually give her a weapon or him a weapon. We can't really give this character a weapon. Even though we have the weapons, there's no hand to hold it because it's a very specific colored hand. So yeah, anyways, thanks for watching the review. So this was the review of the recently released Premium Bandai exclusive SHF Kamen Rider Zero Two Izu version. So if you're very concerned about the height, I would say take a gamble and then maybe wait for the Aruto version, or you can buy this and do what a lot of people are doing. They're customizing it so it matches the height. I've seen people, you know, modify this figure as well. In Japan, there are some posts on Twitter, and if I understood them correctly, that's what they were doing. Or there were people who were just getting an extra SHF Kamen Rider Zero One form, the basic form, and then modifying into this form. So then the height would at least, you know, be normal. Anyway, if you guys got any questions or requests, leave a comment below. I still have more stuff to buy and build and make reviews out, so please stay tuned. Until then, see you guys next time.